Next topic is Spring MVC View Technology. So here we are going to take a look at how you can take advantage of tiles as view technologies, and we are also going to learn how to use so-called content negotiating view resolver, and then we are going to see how we can put the theme into the application. So let's start with tiles. So I'm sure some of you have some understanding on tiles. Okay, so basically this is integration of tiles technology with Spring MVC. So basically tiles let you have the look and feel, the separation of the look and feel and layout from the contents. So that's what the tiles is all about. Okay, so that's the value of tiles. So you can actually use tiles with the Spring MVC. Okay, so example of this picture on this slide, you can see we have a header, we have a menu, and we have a footer, and we have a contents. So all the pages, suppose you got thousands of pages, they all share the same look and feel. So they will have a header up there, and they will have a same footer down there, and it does have a menu, and then the contents will be different depending on the page. Okay, so tiles is providing a common look and feel for all the pages of an application. So tiles framework. So tiles framework allows building pages by assembling reusable tiles. Okay. So display page can be built by assembling header, footer, menu, and body tiles. So each section of the page is in fact a tile. Okay, and then you can impose the same look and feel of all the pages by having a common header, common footer, common menu, and common the layout. And basically the only thing that gets changed is something that you ask to be changed. So typically that is going to be body part. So body part will be changed. So during runtime, the whole page will be constructed from common header, common footer, and common menu, and also using common layout page. Okay, moving forward. So each tile, so in this case header, menu, body, is in fact a JSP page and can be itself built by assembling other tiles. So each of these tiles could be created by combining other tiles. Okay, so how you are going to build tiles application. So first you have to have what is called tiles definitions. So tiles definitions define overall structure of the page. Okay, it basically provides the layout, and the tiles definitions could be inherited. So it could have a parent tiles definition, and then there could be child tiles definition that is inherited from the parent. It will replace only the section that it wants to change and things like that. We are going to actually see examples of these things in a few minutes. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Okay. When views such as a student form and student success are needed to be when views such as a student form or student success need to be resolved, tile definitions will be as views. So this is an important aspect. Tiles is basically the same as any other view. So without using tiles, JSP page is selected as the view, right? Instead of selecting JSP page, now you are going to select a tile. Okay, so tile is just like any other view component, so to speak. You also create a layout page. So this layout is providing common layout. Okay, so basically you are going to say this section should contain the header, this section contains the footer, and this section contains a menu and things like that. And then you have a content page. So content page is a content page. That is the one that actually provides the actual contents. Okay, all right. So let's actually take a look at how we can configure tiles definitions with the Spring MVC. So in order to use tiles, you have to configure tiles definitions. And in order to configure tiles definitions, you can use tiles configurer class that comes with the Spring Framework. Okay, so the class is org Spring Framework.web.servlet.view and tiles2 and tiles configurer class. So here we are creating this tiles configurer object. Okay, and then inside we are going to set tiles definitions. So we have a layout tiles.xml file, and then we have other tiles.xml file on the views. Okay, so this star means any subdirectory. Okay, and we could also set the check refresh, meaning whenever a page is refreshed, it will check the tiles files, tile definitions files as well. Okay, so basically this is a way to configure tiles definitions in Spring Framework. Okay, and we are going to see example of tiles definition in a few minutes, so don't worry about it. Okay, so as I said before, you use tiles just like any other views, meaning you are going to use tile just like a JSP page. Okay, so that is the key point in this slide. So tile definitions then can be used as views. So in order to use tiles as views, you have to have view resolver, just as with any other view technology that we have used so far. Okay, so we can use URL-based view resolver. Remember in the URL-based view resolver, we actually typically create the JSTL view class object, right? But here you can specify tiles view class for the set view class. So whenever you are using URL-based view resolver object, it will actually create a tiles view object. Does this make sense? Okay, so if you remember yesterday, view resolver basically creates a view object, and depending on what view object you are using, it could be JSP view object, it could be timely view object, it could be the velocity view object. Now we are actually generating tiles view object. Okay, so this view object is representing tiles view. Does this make sense? Okay, moving forward. All right, so let's do exercise 1. So exercise 1, and let's actually run the application first. Okay, so yeah, form tag tiles. What is the problem? Oh, so yeah, address in use. I thought actually, oh, so somehow, yeah, I'm gonna actually kill the previous application and then run it. Okay. Okay, so let's open this guy. Oops. Okay, so this is the tile. So this is the form tag sample application. Now we are using tiles. Okay. Now I want you to, let's say, if I want to submit, you can see the response page is also using the same tile. Okay, so all the pages are going to share the same look and feel, same layout. Okay, so that's the idea. We now have just 2 pages, right? So it might not be a big deal, but if you have 1,000 pages, then you want to actually make sure those 1,000 pages share, in fact, the same look and feel, meaning same layout and same look and feel in terms of fonts, colors, and stuff like that. Okay, so here we are mostly focused on the layout side of it. Okay, so we just run this guy. All right, so let's take a look at the code. So if you see the code on the web INF, we have a layouts. On the layouts, we have a tiles.xml file, and then we have a tiles, JSP page. So this part, footer, header, layout, and menu, those are common, the fragment that will be used. Okay, and this view side of it, that is the one that actually provides the actual content. So this is the student success.jsp page content, and in the previous case, this is actually coming from student form.jsp page. Okay, all right. So these views, student form.jsp and student success.jsp, they are providing the actual content. Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at the pom.xml file. You have to have this tiles, Apache tiles dependency. Okay, so you are going to have a tiles version. That tiles version is set right here, 3.0.5. Okay, so you have to add this line, and then we are going to add this dependency to the pom.xml file. Okay, now study Java configuration. So here, this is the where we are configuring So let's take a look at the tiles configurer, bean. So here, this is where we are configuring tiles definitions, layout tiles.xml file, and then all the tiles.xml file under views. Okay. So in our case, we have just the tiles.xml. Okay, so this is probably not required in this particular application. Okay, and then for the view resolver, we actually set the tiles view class here. Okay, so instead of using JSTL, we are now asking to use tiles. Okay, tiles view class. Okay, so that is a configuration. Now let's take a look at the tiles definition. You have a single tiles definition file, and that is actually on the layout. This is actually providing the layout. Okay, now we have a parent definition, and then we have a two-child definition. So this parent definition is called the base.definition. So we are actually naming using this like dot notation, so that the name could actually provide some kind of so in this case, we don't use that dot notation. So name could be just anything. Okay, so we just happen to name it a dot base dot definition, and then you can actually specify the template attribute, which points the layout.jsp page. So layout, if you take a look at the layout.jsp page, that's where you are going to have, in fact, the insert attribute, and this is and then you provide the name of the attribute. So this is the location you are going to insert the actual content. Okay, now the actual content could be coming from in the layout here, in the tiles definition here, or it could actually coming from like here. So let's take a look at this layout.jsp page. So in the layout.jsp page, if you take a look at the layout.jsp page, okay, it does have a multiple attribute: title, header, menu, body, and footer, right? So that is basically title, header, menu, body, and footer. And this is the location you are going to provide some data. Okay, so this one, title, does not, this one is not set anything, because that's going to be set by the child definition. But on the top layout, the header will be set with this content, header.jsp, and this one is menu.jsp, and then this is header.jsp. So in the layout file, we can actually provide a common header, common footer, and common menu. Okay, now we have a child tiles definition called the student form, and it extends this parent base definition. Okay, because it's a child definition, it will inherit all these attribute values. However, because this title and body is not set, it wants to provide the title with the student form, and the body is provided with this content. Same thing for student success. Okay, so the title in this case is going to be student. Yes, you know what? This one should be student success rather than student form. Okay, and then the actual body is coming from the student success.jsp page. Okay, all right. So and then you can see header and footer is a pretty simple ones. Okay. And the student form.jsp page is basically, you know, that we have used in yesterday's exercise, right? So that is being fed as the actual content to the body. If you take a look at the this definition right here. So the body part for this tile will be coming from this JSP page, and the body part of the student success is coming from student success.jsp page. Okay. All right. So and this is student success.jsp page. Okay, so that's it pretty much, you know, the tiles. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys to run this application and take a look at the, you know, the take a look at the code and see whether these things make sense. Okay. Next topic is content negotiating view resolver. So what is content negotiation? So we have seen this example when we work with the RESTful based the Spring application. So client can ask desired representation in the response either using URL extension like a .xml, .json, .html, .pdf, or by having accept header in the request to specify the types it wants. So the example URL extensions is something like this. If I want to receive hotels information in the form of XML, I would say hotels.xml, hotels.json, hotels.html, and hotels.pdf. So in the case of RESTful based web services, basically, you know, we are actually using produces attribute, but this is a case that we are actually dealing with a view. Okay, so we're not really talking about response body, anything like that, you know. So when we got the view as a logical string from the method handler, based on how view resolvers are configured, different view resolver will be used. Okay, and that view resolver could actually generate a JSON or HTML or PDF or an XML. Okay, so content negotiating view resolver, it wraps one or more other view resolvers and look at the accept header or file extension and resolve the view accordingly. Okay, so I want you to actually, you know, see the difference between content negotiating view resolver from the RESTful based operation that we just learned a few minutes ago. This one is the case that the method is still returning a logical view name. Okay, and based on that view name, a different view resolver will be actually chosen, and then, you know, if it is XML, what is if the user wants XML, then it will be returning XML. If the user wants the JSON, it will return JSON and things like that. Okay, so this is still dealing with a logical view. Okay. Okay, so the content negotiating view resolver does not resolve views itself. It actually delegates to other view resolvers. And the selected view resolver resolves a logical view name to a view object. So different view resolvers will return different view object, okay, as we know. Okay, so there are two schemes. This is something of a repeat. Okay, so from the client can specify particular view type either by using file extension or by using accept header. So we have a bit more detailed example here. So suppose URL is like a Fred.pdf, then PDF representation of user Fred will be returned. If the Fred.xml is used, then XML representation of the user of Fred will be returned. Okay. Scheme number 2 is when the user set the accept header. Okay, that again could be honored by the application to generate a particular view type. Okay, so if if the accept header has the application / PDF, then this URL user / Fred will return PDF representation of user Fred, and same deal of this guy. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's see how you can configure content negotiating view resolver. So here we created a view resolver. It's just the view resolver implementation. So we created content negotiating view resolver, and then we actually receive content negotiating manager object as an argument. Okay, so basically, we are creating a list of view resolver. That's array list, and then we are adding, in this case, 5 view resolver implementation: JS view resolver object, and JSON view resolver object, and JAX-B2 marshalling XML view resolver. That's actually for creating XML, or PDF view resolver and an Excel view resolver. So we have configured 5 view resolver into this list of view resolver, the object, and then basically in this content negotiating view resolver, these resolvers are configured. Okay, so as I said, content negotiating view resolver itself does not resolve view itself. It actually delegates to the view resolvers that are configured to itself. Okay, so it will use one of these 5 view resolvers to resolve a view. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at exercise 2. So here we are going to run the application. So let's run the application, and content negotiating view resolver. So we are going to run this application. Okay, so all right, let's go to 8080. So now we should be able to get account information in the form of JSP, and then so this is a collection. This is the a single item. This is the collection in JSON format. This is a single item. This is the account.xml. Somehow it's not working yet, and account /1.xml. And then this is account PDF, and this is accounts the Excel. So if you take a look at the accounts, it should display accounts like this in a table format, and this one is going to display a single person in a table format. And now if I want to receive the same thing in JSON, then it should return in JSON format. And if I want to receive a single person in JSON format, I click this guy, and I have one person is returned in JSON format. And this one I think is not working at this point. Okay, and this is account 1 XML, so it's returning the one person's person information in the form of XML. And this is the case that we are actually getting in terms of PDF. Okay, so you get that 3 people in the form of PDF. Okay, and now this one is XLS. So when I click this guy, it asks me to save into a file. So this is you can see this is Microsoft Excel worksheet, right? So let me just save it somewhere. I'll just go to data. Okay, so now I'm gonna actually go to data. Data here, and there is accounts. So this is the Excel format. Oh, it looks like my open office crashed. I'm gonna just open it with the Microsoft Windows Excel rather than open office. Open with Microsoft. Oh, okay, so it works this time. Yeah, so the 3 people, Sang Shin, Daniel, and Tommy, they are saved as an Excel format. Okay, so that is that. So let's take a look at the code. So here you can see the controller code still returns logical view name, right? So this is a difference from the RESTful based operation. RESTful based operation, it returns response body, okay? But here we are still returning logical view name. So this is in fact a separation of controller from the view. So controller doesn't really care how it's going to be viewed, right? Controller just returns a logical view name, and it is in fact the view technology. I mean, it is the view that in the context of the model view and controller role, it is the view's role to determine how to display that logical view name. Okay, so that's the key point. The controller still returns a logical view name, and it is the view that actually determines which view to the display based on the extension of the URL. Okay. All right, so we did all this. Okay, so this is the configuration. So this is the same code that I showed you in the slide. So when we configure content negotiating view resolver, we just deconfigure this 5 resolver implementation object, 5 resolver object. Okay, so if you see JSP view resolver is using internal resource view resolver, right? And it's actually setting this web INF views and JSP page. And for JSON view, it's actually using it's basically using JSON view resolver. And for JSON view resolver, it's actually using JSON view resolver implementation class. So JSON view resolver, we have a class that actually use the mapping Jackson to JSON view, the class object. Okay, so this is Jackson is using Jackson package. XML view again is using JaxB marshalling XML view resolver, and it's actually using this JaxB to marshaller object. Okay. And for PDF, it's using this PDF view resolver class, and that is here PDF view resolver. Yeah, it's basically using view name locale, and so it's actually using basically returning PDF view object. Okay, so PDF view object is what is actually coming from PDF view class. Okay, so let's take a look at the PDF view resolver. Okay, view resolvers, right? So let's take a look at the PDF view resolver, and okay, so PDF view is from my own. So let's take a look at the. Oh, okay. So we have created PDF view object, and this is the code. Okay, yeah. You don't want to actually understand this code. I mean, it's basically creating the table, then add cells and stuff like that. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So that's basically what I just saw. And Excel is pretty much the same thing. Okay. And here we are basically creating Excel view. Excel view is actually doing pretty much the same thing. Okay, all right, so I am going to give you guys about the 12 or 13 minutes to do this exercise 2. Okay. Last topic of this presentation is theme. So theme is basically look and feel of the application using CSS. So same application could have a different color background and things like that. Okay. The way Spring support a theme is that there is a theme resolver interface, and obviously you need to have an implementation class that implement that interface. So Spring in fact provide several theme resolver implementation classes. One is cookie theme resolver, and the other one is a session theme resolver. And as you can see, the cookie theme resolver implementation is cookie based, and theme is used until cookie is removed or it gets expired. Session theme resolver is used based on session. Okay, so you have a choice. Either you use cookie theme resolver or session theme resolver. It's up to you. Okay, so these are the set of APIs, classes that we are going to work with: theme source and theme resolver and theme change interceptor. So let's talk about each of these in a bit more detail. We'll see how we can use these things. Okay, theme source interface. It basically enables parameterization and internationalization of themes. Here we are not really dealing with the internationalization. We're going to mostly focus on the themes. So you can actually provide the multiple themes in a form of property file. So for example, we have suppose if you want to support 3 themes, which is the case in our sample application. Each of those themes will be provided in a separate property file. So I have a theme 1 property file. So my theme dash theme 1 property file, and it's the inside is specified CSS file to use, and other types like a background color. Okay, so this is theme 1 properties file, and there could be another theme properties file called the my theme dash theme 2 properties and my theme dash theme 3 properties file. So you can basically support the multiple themes, and each theme will be captured in a form of properties file. So if you want to support that kind of a property file based theme, that's where you can use a theme source interface. So here we are the configuring theme source object. So we are going to create a resource bundle theme source. So this is one of the implementation of theme source, and it is based on resource bundle, and there could be another theme source implementation, but here resource bundle theme source is based on properties. Okay, so here we created resource bundle theme source the object, and then one of the property you can set is a base name prefix. So base name prefix is my theme dash. So that's the reason the property file name start with a my theme dash. So if you want to use a different prefix for your properties file, then you can say XYZ dash or whatever. Okay, all right. So this is the resource bundle theme source object configuration. Okay, now theme resolver interface. So this is the basically configuration of the theme resolver. So here you can either choose cookie theme resolver or session theme resolver. So here we decided to use cookie theme resolver. So for cookie theme resolver, we can set the max age. So this is 24,000 seconds, I believe. So this cookie is going to be valid for 24,000 seconds, and this is the name of the cookie. Okay, my theme cookie. So you should be able to see that in your browser, and the default theme name. So for the default theme name, you're going to use a theme 1. Okay, and then and then it returns the theme resolver object. So this is a configuration of theme resolver. Now, one more thing that you might want to support, this is in fact the optional, you might want to support an interceptor so that client can actually change the theme by sending a request. Remember in our this morning, what was the one that was that oh yes, internationalization. So we were able to actually let the user to change the locale by sending a request, right? Request parameter by providing an interceptor, right? So there's the same concept. We want to provide theme change interceptor so that user can actually change the theme, and the theme by sending a request parameter. So request parameter name is called the my theme. Okay. And so it's gonna be question mark my theme equal theme 1, theme 2, or theme 3, things like that. So it basically allows the user to change the theme through by sending request parameter that start with the my theme as a key. Okay, and then we add that interceptor into the registry. Okay. All right, so I hope you guys understand, three things that we need to do. First of all, the theme source, where the theme is coming from. That is a configuration that we have to configure theme source object. And then theme resolver is basically, how you're going to actually resolve a theme. Okay, so here we are using cookie theme resolver, and then interceptor. So three configuration you have to do. The interceptor is probably not required, okay, but it's useful to have. Okay, so that is exercise 3. Okay, so let's take a look at the exercise 3. So let's run the application first. Okay, so kill this application, and let's run this theme. Okay, so it is deployed. So let's run 8080. Okay, so we are using the yellow background. Okay, if I want to change to orange background, it changed orange background. I can change back and forth. So I'm using, in fact, just two themes: yellow, orange, yellow, orange. Okay, this is fun. Okay, so if I use the orange theme, and all the pages should have the same theme, right? Okay, so if I decide to use the yellow, then if I go to a different page, that should actually use the same theme as well. Okay, all right, so we have just two themes, and we are able to, so whenever you click this guy, you can see the URL is actually basically sending request of my theme equal theme 1. Okay, if I want to change this guy to theme 2, then it's changing to theme 2. So basically we are using request parameter to change the theme back and forth, and that's the same thing. You're basically using reference link for that. Okay, so let's take a look at the code. So basically we are going to see there are, oh, by the way, yes, since we can check the cookies because we are using the cookie theme resolver. So you can take a look at the let's go to here and settings. Okay, and you have to show advanced settings. Okay. Yeah, I have documented all these things. So I'm going to just follow advanced settings, and then you want to go to content settings. Where is the content setting? Oh, here you go, content setting. And then you can take a look at all cookies and site data. So click all cookies and site data. Because we are dealing with just the local host, so you can search for local host. Okay. Oh, I have actually too many cookies. Yeah. So the cookies I'm looking for is my theme cookies here. Okay, so that is the one that I'm actually using. So I can take a look at the contents of my theme cookie. So it is, the name is my theme cookie, content is theme 2. So basically, based on the content of this cookie, your application will choose a theme. Okay, all right, and done. So okay, so basically you can see that. Yeah, so this is what I showed you. So now let's take a look at the code. So if you take a look at on the resources, you can see we have two properties, theme properties. Okay, so let's actually take a look at the two theme properties and resources. And so this property is using style, CSS, and yellow. So this is probably not much of a big deal, because you can just use this background color to determine which theme is actually being used. And this one is using orange. Okay. All right, and then we have in terms of CSS files. So the CSS file is located on the resources CSS and style2.css. That's on the web app. So here we have resources and CSS, and style1 CSS is just the H2. For any H2, it's going to be green, and this one is red. Oh, okay. So if you take a look at I didn't actually notice that thing here. Oops. Yeah. So H2. Oh, this is red, and if I say yellow, this is green. Okay. So this is H2 being reflected with the CSS file. Okay. All right. So that is that. And now we have to configure those Java configurations, right? So basically theme source configuration, theme resolver configuration, and then the interceptor configuration. Okay, and we also actually had the resource configuration. This is something that we learned in the second day. How we can actually configure resources. Okay, so whenever there is a resources URL comes down, then it's going to look for from this directory. Okay, so in this case, this is the same, so probably not a big deal. Okay, so again, this is a configuration of three things: theme source, theme resolver, and interceptor. Okay, so that's the same thing that I actually showed to you. I showed you these properties, and then style sheet I talked about, and then JSP file. So if you basically student.jsp file,